Hello and welcome to Boxing Bants, the home of Irish boxing. Tonight we have something a little bit more special. This tonight is not really about boxing, but more so about MMA and the Conor McGregor fight this weekend against Khabib Nurmagomedov. This man here that I have as a guest tonight is calling from New Mexico in America, originally from Belfast, a current professional MMA fighter, former Commonwealth, five-time Commonwealth Bronze Medalist, as well as a swimmer who's converted from swimming into MMA a few years ago. I know this man through the boxer Paulie Malignaggi. Adam Byrne is his name, cousins of Jerry Byrne, who works with Conor McGregor. I'm going to have him on tonight to give him a bit of background about himself, and Adam is also going to give us a breakdown of the fight that's going on tonight. Okay, so welcome to the show, Adam.
Cheers, Ciaran. Thanks very much. How's it going? How's things?
Not too bad, not too bad. Are you missing home yet?
Fuck, all the time, boy. While you get stuck out here because of, a certain fucking president who doesn't dish out visas to people, as you're seeing this weekend with a fight. Khabib's dad can't even come over because of US immigration. It's a shit show.
Yeah.
Well, you got kids locked up over the border down here. It's mad. It's mad. As I say, I came over here to train for a while and ended up getting stuck out here.
So, just to give people a bit of a background, you originally recognised from the boxing world as you were on Paulie's podcast a little while back, and so that's how I kind of got in touch with you. But your background in MMA, I know at the moment you were in Jackson's Winks in Albuquerque, but where are you fighting at the moment? And tell us how you've got there over the last couple of months.
Well, basically, as I say, came out originally came down from New York. It was over at Smithtown, New York, with Chris Cope, who's a former UFC fighter, training down there for a long time, out at his gym, who he opened with Luke Rockhold, called Unique Fitness, and basically had sent me down to Jackson's for a couple of months to train before a fight I had in Brave Combat Belfast in the SSE Arena, and came down, great camp, a lot of guys here, a lot of top level guys training there, but it was definitely a different kind of a lot of things that I saw here. Obviously the high altitude training is why most decent high level athletes come out to use the altitude to improve their performance over a few weeks, and then usually they leave and move on to another camp. But as I say, came out to Albuquerque and had a couple of friends out here that were training, and one guy's currently signed to the UFC, Devin Clark, good friend of mine, had put me on to one of the coaches in Jackson's, and came down for a few weeks to get some training in before the fight. But obviously ran into a few visa problems along the way with the current immigration situation in the US, so wasn't able to make the fight. It was June 9th. The SSE. It was a card with a couple of one or two ex-UFC fighters on. Nolan Park was on that card, and also world champion Andy Young. A couple of decent names and come from the Northern Irish MMA scene.
So, in terms of your history in MMA as you converted into it from swimming into MMA, what made you actually convert over to MMA originally? I presume you were living in Ireland when you decided to make the conversion.
Yeah, it was 2009 actually when I got back from a swim camp, and eventually just started, always was watching MMA for years. Ken Shamrock, I was literally like addicted to watching it when I was younger, and growing up, obviously in Belfast and in Northern Ireland, it's a different ball game in terms of you have to be in some way, shape or form inclined towards combat sports, and it's always there. So you've always got availability, and Paul McElroy was actually one of my first coaches from Centaur, Belfast, which is now SBG Belfast. He was one of my coaches, and it just got me into it. I just got interested and was automatically hooked. And saw a lot of swimmers were using boxing as part of their training camp, so we were always using boxing techniques, through many years and years and years of practice, and just converted naturally from there. Went to Commonwealth Games, medalled 5 times, and just thought to myself, right, it's time to convert these accolades into another sport, so I can use the skills in other areas.
Very interesting, very interesting. And originally, when you converted over, what was the company or promotion that you signed with when you converted over?
Initially, I'd signed with Clan Wars, which are a pretty big promotion in Northern Ireland now. They had a lot of fighters that came through their ranks, went to the UFC. Charlie Ward, a lot of Conor McGregor's teammates, Adam Byrne, which is obviously with this fight coming up, who's a key figure in it. And obviously through meeting Paulie so many years ago, just being around him and stuff, was always he was always looking out for most of the young athletes that came from other sports, and was able to help people out with choices and what promotions they chose, because he obviously he had a lot of experience with like different promotions all over the world, not just in MMA but in boxing. But he always looks out for fighters. But Clan Wars and Ultimate Warriors were the 2 promotions that I was signed to back when I had started. Obviously, I had a ton, 3 or 4 amateur fights, a lot of grappling tournaments, a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments, submission grappling, and obviously in the States there's tons of them out here too. You're always doing them when you're off season in your spare time. But yeah, definitely. Clan Wars was a good promotion. It definitely started me and got my name going and stuff. I think it's recently been taken over now by someone else, but it was always a good promotion back then.
All right, okay. And in terms of after Clan Wars, what brought you over to the States?
Originally, what brought me over to the US?
When you were with Clan Wars, obviously, eventually you made your transition over to the US. Like, what was it that pulled you over?
Basically, most guys will tell you, like, you have to go out and find grappling, and the US is one of the best places to come. In terms of the high school talent, just even being over in Jersey and New York in wrestling camps, like there's no culture like it for grappling, in terms of MMA. That was the original move, was to come out to the US and find grappling, because there's a lot in Northern Ireland, but it's just the wrestling base that you get in the States. It's just another level. It's second to Russia, obviously, the best in the world in terms of Olympians, and being a Commonwealth Games medalist, just able to come to the schools and learn and train with some of the high school wrestlers and some of the best wrestlers in the state. And just being able to be on the mat with them is a different experience. And as I say, Dan Hardy says it a lot. If you want to be able to improve your wrestling game, you got to go and find it.
Yeah. And in terms of where you are now, obviously you're with Brave MMA, but I know that you were just saying how you had some issues with your visa. So you're training basically in Jackson Winks for the past few months. So who else was in that gym? And I know you're not there at the moment, but basically how long were you training there for? And I know you touched on Mike Perry and whatnot, but who else were you training with there?
Mike Perry was there, John Dodson. Let me see. A lot of the days I was on the mats, you would have seen a lot of the good strike coaches. Frank Lester was there. You would see John Jones the odd time, but he would appear in the gym back and forward. He wasn't really a popular, a popular time that he would be training. A lot of his training is very, from what I had saw, closed circuit kind of thing. Gym after hours, Holly Holm would have been there a lot. They have a lot of amateurs in the gym, so the mats are very full. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people come to Jackson Wink and train and then go in and out, because it's so overcrowded. A lot of the amateurs come over and they'll pay $200-300 for mat time, and it'll just be it's a packed gym, 9 times out of 10.
It's a bit like a UFC gym. It's a bit almost commercialized at this stage. You mean?
I would say it's more commercialized now. Ciaran highlighted that when I met him. He was telling me, it's definitely turned into like a bit of a puppy factory, pushing through amateurs, which is great, for the sport. But obviously, it's the gym's becoming a lot about money. But as I say, I was impressed when I came out here. I had a good month and a half of solid training, and a lot of the top professional guys are very welcoming. Diego Sanchez is a great guy. I spent a lot of time with him. And a lot of good pros out here. But it's as I say, Ciaran, a lot of things that he's saying on Joe Rogan's podcast there recently are a lot factual. A lot of it's true.
That's why he was talking about. Well, he talked a couple of years ago about he was coming out of the gym and some guy tried to fight him and he basically just kicked him in the chest. But that's obviously something that was becoming more and more common. Am I right? Just people coming in and threatening fighters.
Yeah, people coming in off the street a couple of times. But that's, as I say, Albuquerque's a rough area. You expect that. And I remember one day Greg Jackson, in the middle of a jiu-jitsu class one day, I'd say, watch out for such and such. I'm not going to name names, but it was a regular that had come into the gym. It was just went a bit crazy, and I said if he had a weapon on him, call a member of staff. So as I say, it's been a bit crazy, but as I say, the coach's top level. As I say, I don't want to be public enemy number one for releasing what's going on inside the gym, but it's definitely a good spot to train. But in terms of organisation and a lot of the amateurs that are running around, Ciaran is right, and a lot of the things he's saying, he's definitely got a good point.
Mm-hmm. And so am I right in saying he's not in the gym anymore, and neither are you? So what was it that made the both of you leave and the rest of them?
Well, I think Ciaran maybe a lot. Well, he has his own ranch out in Edgewood there, and as I say, a great place to train. I haven't had the pleasure of being out there to see it yet, but No Holds Barred is another gym. A couple of the guys have moved to there, so we all moved down towards that gym and just to train there to get more mat time in, more spacious. There was less amateurs in there training, and it was just a lot more accessible and more of a private area. Jackson Wink now is very commercialized, as you're saying. You're definitely correct on that.
Yeah, and in terms of your training now, where are you training now at the moment? The name of the gym?
We're over at NHB, No Holds Barred. It's another gym, just it's not a rival gym, but it's a smaller gym, more closed circuit. One of the guys that we work with, he's one of the coaches there for the junior kids class. So a lot of the guys are meeting up there Saturday to train.
All right, okay. So obviously, in regards to this weekend, so there's obviously a huge UFC fight on Saturday night. The weigh-in's on to tomorrow morning. I think you're making your way down to Vegas, aren't you, to watch the fight between Conor and Khabib? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, we're gonna probably head down or take a road trip down there and check it out and see what the story is.
Yeah, I'd say it'll be a late one anyway on Saturday night. But
I'm sure it'll be mad.
So, in terms of the fight, obviously, living in Ireland for myself, going around talking to a lot of people, including myself. Now, I'm very ignorant to the sport. I wouldn't know much about it in terms of breaking what's actually going on inside the cage. And when you speak to most people, a lot of people are the same. They don't really know what they're talking about, even though they would like to give their opinion on it. But a lot of people, the casuals, would say they're always on two completely different sides of the spectrum. They all say either Khabib's just going to take him down and just basically wrestle him for the whole fight, and then there's the other side of the spectrum where people are saying, oh yeah, Conor's just going to knock him out within a couple of rounds. What is your breakdown of the fight? Obviously, because it's more your educated opinion of someone who's converted from quite a high level swimmer into a professional MMA fighter. What would be your breakdown of the fight itself?
Well, as I say, there's a lot of things you got to look at here, a lot of points. Just as I say, I think one of the top analysts in the game analysed it perfectly. Dan Hardy, he's fantastic, man. You know, and he's got the experience to back it up. A lot of the things that a lot of people are obviously over exaggerated for the general public. Back and way up until the fight, you know, you're going basic on.
Sorry, Adam, you're just breaking up there. Sorry, Adam, you're just breaking up there.
Oh, right. You're going. You can hear me now?
Yeah. Could you just start again from talking about Dan Hardy there? Sorry.
Basically, yeah. As I say, his fight, Dan Hardy's fight breakdown is fantastic. You know, he breaks it down very well. You know, looking at a lot of his points. But it's as I say, a lot of the armchair experts will be talking about Conor's left hand or Khabib takes him down. You know, it's gonna be one way or the other. That's the majority of the common phrases you're gonna hear before the fight. In terms of accolades, my view on it is, you know, you obviously got to compare the accolades of the two with regards to before the actual fight happens. Like, you're looking at Khabib. Khabib's obviously he's a chain wrestler by trade, and you know he's a 3-weight world champion in sambo, combat sambo, which is a fucking rough sport, man. And he's a national champion in Russia. You know, look at the accolades. Conor, obviously, he's won professional boxing bout, and I don't think he's had any national titles in boxing. I'm not a big boxing scribe, so I'm not, you know, as educated as you are, Ciaran. I don't read as much as you guys do. But in terms of UFC accolades, Conor has them all, you know. But as I say, you can't sleep on Khabib. You know, there's so many differences within the two in terms of physiological factors. Obviously, Khabib is so fucking strong, and you know, things that he does in terms of the actual fight, breaking it down bit by bit. You just got to look at his attributes first. You know, in terms of takedown attempts, I believe one night he had 27 takedown attempts, one successful within 3 rounds. From a lot of the literature that has been coming out, but you know, the thing is with this whole fight, it is a classic striker versus grappler, and you know, we're talking back to UFC 1 and 2, where you know a lot of these fights were happening. It's definitely coming in, but it's still MMA is still. No matter how much it's evolved.
Sorry, cutting off on me again there. Sorry. Just cutting off on me again there, sorry. Can you hear me there?
Yeah, I can hear you, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead there, sorry, what you were saying.
As I say, looking at the aspect of MMA and in terms of competition, the base of MMA for a lot of guys is wrestling, and you know that's been evident through a lot of the Grant. A lot of the previous, as I say, I'm just walking out of the store here as I'm talking to you. A lot of the previous accolades with other fights. With obviously wrestling is a huge factor within MMA, and it's definitely got its place. Oh yeah, grand, yeah, no problem. I'll lift that across. Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah, mate, I'm just walking out of the store here as I'm talking here because you're on earpiece speakers here. Because I'm just finished training there, so just grabbing some food. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Cheers. Thanks very much. Have a good one, man. So yeah, as I say, in terms of the actual accolades with regards to the whole thing, you know, wrestling has a huge impact on what happens within MMA and where the fight goes and how you're able to control it. You know, and it's a classic thing of going back to the fact that wrestling has its place in MMA and still does. And you know, obviously, with the fight and the way that it's going to go, there's so many factors with Khabib because there's so many unknowns. You know, obviously he's 26-0, so that's unheard of in MMA, and a lot of people have been saying that, and it's a big advantage going into the fight. He's never tasted defeat, so you know, Conor's tasted it 3 times, so it can be a good thing and a bad thing, because Conor knows what it's like to lose with it at that level. Khabib doesn't, you know, and as I say, that's obviously when he gets hit, you know, we don't know how he's going to react to it because obviously these two guys have never met. You know, but also we've got to look at, yes, Conor's knocked out so many people. Like, look at the Chad Mendes fight. Look at, you know, the Eddie Alvarez fight. But we have to remember a lot of things that Paulie was saying about Conor striking is true. Yes, he has fantastic hands, but have we seen one-shot knockout power? In my opinion, we haven't. It's an accumulation of strikes that puts the opponent away, generally. From what we've seen,
apart from
45.
Yeah, apart from the Aldo one, obviously.
Apart from the Aldo one, yeah, but even then, Aldo wasn't stiff. He had to put him out with 2 more shots. Fists as he turned around. You know, he wasn't completely stiff when he hit the floor. We're not talking like Ryan Jimmo stiff. I think it was UFC 178 possibly, and Ryan Jimmo came out with right hands and completely starched his opponent to the point of where the guy was a statue at the side of the fucking cage. But yeah, as I say, you know, there's definitely a lot of queries and questions to be answered there. But the accolades outside of MMA are in Khabib's favour. In my opinion, the fight is 55-45. As an MMA fan and as an MMA fighter, you're really looking at what Khabib can do in terms of space control, how he's able to close distance. It's a 20-foot cage. There's only so far Conor can go. You know, and those are the big things. The big factors in this fight is the fact that it's MMA. You know, this is not just striking. And obviously Conor's a master of distance control. You know, you can't badmouth him. You can't say, you know, that he's not, because his spatial awareness is amazing. You know, and even looking at things on his side, if you watch the Alvarez fight, if you watch the Mendes fight, his right hand probe, you know, to probe shots. He sells his shots well. You know, he'll put that right hand out there, you know, just to show you it, you know, as a distraction, and then the next thing, it's the shot that you don't see that basically, you know, ends your life, you know, within that fight. You know, it's those probing shots that create his TKOs by accumulation. You know, with his technical knockouts, what he did to Chad Mendes was like, I believe, a front teep push kick, then a left uppercut to the body, if I'm not mistaken, a double jab, feint with a left hand behind it that just put him to the edge of the cage. Did the same thing with Brand a couple of years back. You know, it's the accumulation of shots is what does it. And he's smart, man. You know, he's smart. But the big question, and from looking at the Mendes fight, obviously there's a big difference between an American wrestler, which is what I find out being out here, even training with Chris Weidman in New York, and Austin Wall, who's a state champion in Jersey, and Frankie Edgar, even like just getting like a couple of rounds in with him. It's so different in how the Russians wrestle compared to the Americans. Because like Chad Mendes, if you watch Chad Mendes fight against Conor, he was throwing blast doubles, he was reactive wrestling, and so he was reacting off shots that Conor was throwing, so he was getting underneath the shots. Khabib's a chain wrestler, man, and every single time he goes for a leg, an arm, he will keep going. He's a fucking relentless bastard. And it's those Dagestan are fucking Jesus, man. They're tough people. You know, and it's just the fact that he doesn't give up, and the wrestling, it just to the pressure of, like, it's just constant pressure, constantly grabbing onto something, you know, until eventually he's like, if you look at it like he's like venom, yeah, he's like a parasite. He grabs onto you, you know, he'll grab onto an ankle, a leg, a foot, something, and he won't give it up for dear life, you know. And that comparison in terms of the Chad Mendes fight is what everyone's going to be looking at, because obviously Mendes took him down 3 times in 2 rounds, but Conor also weighed 145. Had probably a rough weight cut. God knows what way weight cut's going to go.
If you a lot of people say this now when they're watching videos of him. Of him, even just his smack talk and things like that, when he was coaching on the Ultimate Fighter, he looked so different when he was a featherweight. Like, he just looked he almost looked ill. You know what I mean? How ill, and it's not just when he was fighting. He looked so thin and skinny year round. And I actually he wasn't doing the weight cut right either though. But because I interviewed a guy called Ian Kidd who worked with George Lockhart. And who obviously started doing Conor's weight cuts from the Aldo fight, and basically when he came in and said, right, John, Conor's going to eat this, and this at the week of the fight. Apparently, John Gavin turned around and goes, "Wait, so Conor's going to eat the week of his fight." That's how drastic he used to be when he fought. When he fought Mendes. Apparently when he fought Mendes, he barely ate, you know, so obviously that cut was like
horrible. Well, look at this. Chad Mendes is 5'6". You know, it was, you know, obviously, you know, when he put the water back on, Conor looked a lot bigger. He still did look rough, you know. But you're still 100% what you're saying, Ciaran. Like, you're definitely seeing the same problem. Weight cut is a huge thing. A bad weight cut can everything. I used to cut to 170. I don't think I'll ever see 170 again. I walk around at 205. But also the difference between these two guys in terms of weight, like, we've also seen Cormier, Cain Velasquez, Luke Rockhold, who are all fucking monsters that Khabib is literally training with day in, day out of the AK in California. And those guys, you know, Cormier is an Olympic wrestler, you know.
Gold medalist, isn't he? I think that Daniel Cormier did win the gold medal, in the Olympics.
But you also have to remember too, even at that, you know, Conor's got that Maldivian coach, and he's got 2 Olympic wrestlers currently on the, I think, the Maldivian team training with him in the PI. He's also got Dylan Dennis, who's a fantastic jiu-jitsu expert, and you know, you can argue either side, but at the end of the day in, day out, Khabib has been taking punishment from guys that walk around at 230, 240. Like, you got Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier, like 2 ex-UFC champions who are absolute animals. And even just watching footage of Khabib training with those guys it's scary to imagine that he can take them down. And they say he never loses a round in training, which is, you know, understandable also. But it's definitely a factor to look at, and you know, it's one of those things where it's a size difference going to be. Is Khabib going to come in at 185, 190 on fight night? You know, is he going to be huge? Is he going to how big is his cut? You know, we don't know. Conor looks comfortable at the weight he's at. He's also thick. You know, Khabib is more bottom heavy. You know, he's pretty big legs too. But yeah, it's definitely a factor to be could definitely play a factor. You know, I also think that in terms of energy systems, what energy systems are going to play into effect, specifically with regards to, obviously Khabib's went 5 rounders and he's done many of them. Obviously Conor's went the full distance too, but we also know that there's a lax point where either maybe his ATP stores drop after the 3rd round. ATP PC stores of just that quick 8-10 second burst kind of slow down a bit, and whether Khabib can take advantage of that is you know, it remains to be seen. But I think this fight is really going to come down to either the physiology of being able to execute the right techniques, specifically for Conor at the right time, and being able to use the things that he has done in previous fights to confuse Khabib. But at the same time, Khabib's, you know, he's got a constant forward pressure. And the thing is, if Khabib can last with the shots that are coming from Conor with the forward pressure, then it's Khabib's fight to win. But, you know, whether he gets dinged 2 or 3 times and keeps coming forward, you never know. You just don't, because they haven't met. In my opinion, people are saying Khabib got rocked by Michael Johnson, and, you know, in my opinion, I don't think he did. I think he got shook by, it was a left cross, I think, hit him, you know, and maybe wobbled a little bit, but he wasn't rocked. He went on to absolutely maul Michael Johnson and embarrass him, like, to the point of where he had cinched up his legs and had trapped his left arm. He was literally fighting with one arm. And even the shots, when Khabib's on top of you with that pressure, he doesn't leave a lot of space. You know, in terms of when the shots are coming down from top position, Khabib lands the punches. If you watch the Michael Johnson fight, the punches are landing, but there's no space in between where the fist is hitting Michael Johnson's head and the canvas. It's literally thud, thud, thud. And, like, I don't know if Conor can withstand those shots. I don't have a clue how Michael Johnson withstood those shots, because those, to me, are concussion blows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we also, well, on a comedy note, if you ever watch Snoop Dogg, not that he's got much fucking clue about MMA because of the way he commented on Dan Till's last fight, you know, if you look up the video of Michael Johnson and Khabib and Snoop Dogg talking about it, he's beating the dog shit out of him, you know, like, literally, he's talking about, you look like there's 3 or 4 guys on him, like, stop the fight, you hear him screaming. It's for anyone who's an avid MMA fan, there may be a lot of analyses used in it, but Snoop Dogg's a funny guy. As I say, he hasn't got a fucking baldy about MMA, in my opinion, but yeah.
So John Kavanagh was saying after Eddie Alvarez fight, he was asked, you know, about you know, Conor's toughest fight, and he said and who his next fights were at the time, and obviously Khabib had fought Michael Johnson at the time, and he said that people were talking about Khabib being his toughest fight, but in John Kavanagh's opinion, he said stylistically his toughest fights were Max Holloway at featherweight and still Nate Diaz at lightweight. If would you?
Yeah, I agree with that. I would agree with that. Starting point. Stylistically, yes, awkward. Both can take a lot of punishment. Holloway was 45 though. You know, and then he went on to become featherweight champion. So, you know, as I say, that goes without saying. He's a phenomenal athlete.
If I used to ask you now, like, so I'll do it from Conor's side first. If you were coaching Conor to win the fight, what ways could he win the fight if you were to give it, to break it down?
Breaking it down that way, it's just sticking to his strengths, basically. You know, and being very with his hips, getting his hips to far away from Khabib as possible. Not ending up in a body lock, not ending up getting caught in a low single, not trying to stay away from anything in terms of letting Khabib close distance. That's what most people that have got a good MMA mind will tell you. I am guessing that Kavanagh is going to not put in spinning attacks, because in no way, shape or form does Conor want to show his back to Khabib in any way in terms of turning.
Yeah.
That's just a danger. Look at what happened to Chris Weidman through a spinning back kick at Luke Rockhold. Chris Weidman's a high level wrestler, ended up getting fucking ground and pounded. Got literally destroyed by Luke Rockhold.
Yeah.
Just because of one mistake in a fight. I think that's going to be one of the big things. Sticking with the long range shots with his hands and being able to disengage the clinch a lot. Because Khabib's going to come, man. There's nowhere, there's only so far he can go in cage. He's got to control center of the octagon and keep him far out. Those are the main things. Possibly low kicks can be could be okay to slow Khabib down, but you don't know. You haven't really seen Khabib get hit by a lot of low kicks. It seems to be. But as I say, bringing it back to the last thing I was talking about there, you were asking me about Max Holloway and which was the other fight?
Yeah, no. What he wasn't necessarily talking about those fights at all in terms of how the fights went. He was more so saying that if he had to pick the hardest fight statistically that Conor will have in the future, he said will be Max Holloway featherweight or Nate Diaz a lightweight.
Again, you have to remember, there's no disrespect to Nate Diaz, but he's like a fucking crackhead that just literally takes everything coming at him. He's like something out of The Walking Dead. You need a gun to put him down. He's one of those people who just fucking walks onto it. I think somebody referred to him as the Homer Simpson of MMA in an interview I heard recently. And it's one of those things where he's long, he's rangy, but he can be hit and he's sloppy. In terms of Conor, Conor, that's the analysis Conor would have. But also you have to remember, Nate Diaz went for the floor. Conor literally, was an X guard, I think. He pulled was an X guard sweep, I believe. And Conor's no slouch on the ground, man. Despite what people say, black belt jiu-jitsu, and he's able to pull off an X guard sweep. That's high level brown belt. He was definitely no slouch. But despite what people say, despite what a lot of the boxers are saying, Conor's going to get taken down and blah 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 blah. But you have to always look at the previous fights with the takedown defense in previous fights. Obviously Mendes was different, but the fights before that, like Dennis Seaver had double unders on him against the fence, and he was out like a shot. He was gone. Eddie Alvarez made him look like a boy. Made him look like a fucking little kid. Eddie Alvarez had him pressed against the fence. Didn't even faze him. Big size difference. Eddie Alvarez looked like a midget, as did Chad Mendes. Seaver was outranged. And there's a lot actually going with regards to that. But I think with Khabib, I think Conor's met his match with Khabib, in my opinion. Only just because of the sheer pressure on the chain wrestling. The chain wrestling, I think, in this fight is what the key is. Because Khabib just will keep going. He'll shoot, reshoot, reset, strike maybe for a bit, reshoot. If you listen to Javier Mendez's interview there recently, Khabib's coach, the fact that Javier Mendez has said, no, we're going to stand. Every fight starts from a standing position. So Conor's, he's going to be standing, and Khabib's going to be standing, and they're going to have to cross that bridge when they come to it. Obviously, in my opinion, Khabib's striking, as many MMA stand-up experts in terms of boxing have said, and Conor has said too, they think it's dog shit. I think his boxing's improved over many fights, but that's in terms of MMA wise. But in terms of boxing wise, no, God no. I don't think that Khabib's on any level to even compete in boxing. But as I say, it's there's so many factors to take in with it, and there's a lot of possibilities from both ends, from the stand-up end and from the grappling end.
Yeah. So basically, obviously in a nutshell, like there's no set in stone result really. You know what I mean? Regardless of what people think, it could really go either way. But obviously, you're edging towards Khabib, and it's hard to know what'll happen in the fight.
Khabib, yeah. But because the sport was, the sport has been dominated by wrestlers for years. But the crazy thing about this whole thing as well is the fact of the UFC being an American promotion, and it's two Europeans. That is the biggest event in UFC history, which is a great thing for Europe as well as a country for its athletes. But at the end of the day, also you have to look at the factors of MMA's evolving. It's becoming more of a striking game, and Khabib is really in terms of his wrestling ability, it's the highest level at MMA, in my opinion. But as I say, it's 55-45 for me. In terms of the time limit and what can be done within certain rounds, I believe that if Khabib is to get TKO'd, it'll happen very quickly. It'll be something that he's never felt before, as he never lost. One of the shots will hit him, and he'll just turn into it'll be a panic. If Conor's able to keep him within range and out of distance, and pepper him, I think the fight will be over very, very quickly. Just because Khabib's not on that level, his striking's just not on that level. And you have to face it. He fights with his chin up. He gets very exposed, even by Michael Johnson. I would say that he was exposed by a striker that's not really on Conor's level at all. Extremely fast, but not in terms of technique. Conor's technique in terms of striking is just a lot better than Michael Johnson. Yeah. He's just levels above. He's definitely one of the best MMA boxers, but not in terms of boxing. No, I don't even rate him as a boxer. But that's just because it's a completely different sport. And a lot of the stuff people say about the Mayweather fight, landed such and such amount of punches, that doesn't mean shit. Mayweather carried him through that fight. Played with him basically. But boxing with Mayweather at that level will definitely help you with MMA, because he's going to be able to read things better than most of the other guys. You have to give credit where credit's due. But in terms of it's just striker versus grappler. Really, it's just a classic matchup. And it's seeing who can impose their will in the most effective manner. And I believe that Khabib literally can finish Conor within 3 rounds if he gets to the position where he can finish him. Just like Paulie's analysis, Paulie has a good analysis on the mentality and the character of fighters, I believe, because at the end of the day, it's just like he says, like the Diaz fight, if you're not a black belt in jiu-jitsu, who takes the fight to the ground when you're getting outstruck? But at the same time, it's an energy system management thing on Conor's side too. So, it's really about looking at the situation and going, oh, okay, so Khabib is, able to go 5 rounds. He is training with heavier guys, ex-UFC champions, Olympic level wrestlers, and he's not losing rounds in training from what I hear. Conor is also training with some of the same caliber guys, but obviously the speed of Conor's hands, and on the opposite side, the speed that Khabib is able to shoot and reshoot and initiate distance closing and any form of getting a hold of something is what's going to determine the fight. I think that if it goes 5 rounds, just like a lot of the guys are saying, I think it's going to be Khabib by decision, just because takedowns and constant grappling are going to count for a lot of points in the scorecards.
Mm-hmm.
But as I say, in my opinion, I think it'll either be Khabib finishing Conor within 3 rounds, or Khabib getting catastrophically KO'd within the first 2.
Right. Okay. Well, we got a lot covered there in 45 minutes, and I really appreciate your insight, Adam, today. And I think you've covered pretty much every angle there. So this will be a nice taster for people before the fight on Saturday. Please remember, everyone, that just hit the subscribe button with the YouTube, so you can follow us every single week for all your up-to-date boxing analysis, and also hit the like button, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.